What? Fine. Shazam! Something's not right.
So here's a fun fact. Do you know that Shazam in the comics was originally called Captain Marvel? Which means there's two Captain Marvel movies that came out within a month of each other? You know what that means? Oh, which Captain Marvel movie's better? As a DC and Marvel fan, that's right, I'm the freaking weirdo that doesn't care what studio makes it as long as it's a good movie. I'm happy to say they are so different, you can't compare them. But you still will, won't you? So here's my spoiler-free review of Shazam. Feels like you have to be like, Shazam! Just freaking sounds cooler. Let me start by saying this movie's vibe is very different than what we're used to, especially with DC. I mean, I love the Dark Knight trilogy, but that's kind of a one-off. DC tried to do that with a lot of the other stuff, and it was just too freaking dark, man. But lately with Wonder Woman and to a lesser extent Aquaman, it's kind of, yeah. And now with Marvel doing their Infinity War stuff, and even they're getting really serious, they kind of have to for those movies. It's nice to have this movie, and it really is a breath of fresh air in the superhero genre. This is pretty much big, a little bit of Goonies, a little bit of Harry Potter, and a PG version of Deadpool. There's definitely meta stuff in here, and it's freaking hilarious. And just a heads up, this is fun, silly, lighthearted, and campy. There's stuff here that you might be like, wow, that's a little too childish, but you gotta remember what movie you're watching, dude. This movie doesn't take itself seriously, and it kind of rolls with it. As an audience member, you should too. Some of the CGI has some rough moments, but the movie was made for under $100 million, which is like freaking chump change for a comic book movie. It does take a bit for Shazam to show up, but I really didn't mind that at all. I was really into the actual story and the character development. And this really does bring you into like the world and life of foster children. It was interesting and engaging. In fact, the foster kid story in the house with the new foster kids, dude, that could have been its own movie. I would have been cool with it. The kid from It that plays Freddy, super freaking cool, man. He was awesome in this. He's got a freaking future ahead of him, man. He really does. Second favorite is the little black girl. Dude, she was adorable. Not every foster kid gets a lot of character development, but they're all really fun. Parents are cool too, especially what's his name from Walking Dead? Freaking love that guy, man. The villain, played by Mark Strong, I didn't think I would like the villain in this. I was like, oh, just another freaking villain, whatever. But he was freaking good, man. I will say this movie is mostly a PG movie. It really, listen, adults can enjoy it. It's got a lot of great jokes, but it really is kid-friendly. The PG-13 stuff really comes from an ability the villain has. That's really awesome. 5-year-old kid sees it, fucking nightmares, man. But the real standout here is Zachary Levi, who is born to play this role. He wasn't an adult playing a kid. He really was a kid stuck in an adult's body. They're not gonna go try to save the world. They're gonna be trying to buy beer, taking selfies, and showing off. And I gotta tell you, Shazam really has an innocence and a purity and a joy to it that you don't get in comic book movies nowadays. It really kind of harkens back to like Christopher Reeve's Superman. And as I said before, this really is mostly a PG movie. One wish that I have is that I wish it would have embraced the PG-13 a little more and just been a little bit edgier. But it's cool. This movie really embraces the fun and the joy of being a superhero and having superhero powers. It's not like, oh, great responsibility, this and that. Yeah, no. That happens, don't get me wrong. But in the beginning, you wake up and you have superpowers, you're gonna be like, holy shit, what? And that's what this movie does, dude. It shows you like, look what I can do. And it's a great little journey of discovery. And the journey of discovery and development of characters really goes all the way from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, which you never see in comic book movies. All superhero movies, you know what you're getting in that third act, bro. Come on, turn off your brain, put your feet up, and enjoy the spectacle and the special effects. Oh look, there's a laser beam from the freaking sky, and the world is at stake, and we're all gonna die if the hero doesn't do good. This was different. The third act of this movie was fantastic and kept you engaged, and even had a few surprises. It did run a little bit long, but it was okay. It wasn't that bad. And listen, there was plenty of fighting, but it felt intimate and continued to focus on what the movie was really about, which is family. I can't say enough, man. This movie has a ton of heart. Though I will say there's an exchange in the third act between two characters, pointing something out that is so obvious in every comic book movie. I was dying. The theater was dying. This movie really does avoid comic book movie cliches. Some may come out of the theater and be like, I don't see what the big deal is, or I didn't like it, because you're just so used to what you've gotten for 30 freaking movies now. But this movie didn't try to be a big superhero movie. It tried to be big with superheroes in it. instead of superhero movie with big elements in it. I do wish some of the comedic moments were left out of the trailers, but there is still plenty of movie you haven't seen in the trailers and a lot of other jokes you haven't seen in the trailers. I left the theater and I thought the movie was good when I saw it. The next day I liked it more. And with that, I have to say, this was some magical shit. Really glad DC is finally taking their time now like Marvel did, and also not taking itself too seriously. This is how you build up to a proper Justice League movie. DC is now earning it, and when Marvel and DC are both good, we all win. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my review. Please like, subscribe, and whatever to all the stuff that I have, especially YouTube. Hit that bell for notifications, and thanks for watching.